distinguished guests, freedom fighters, and human rights activists from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. This is my second time speaking at the Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy, and I'm very grateful to the organizers for making it possible for me to speak to you today. In 2022, I spoke about a country that I call home, Uganda, a nation of 50 million people living under the violent military dictatorship of General Museveni, who has for 40 years twisted the law and used the military to stay in power. I told you of how I ran for president against him in 2021, how it was the most violent political campaign yet, and how he massacred hundreds of our people on the 18th and 19th of November 2020. How he shut down the internet on the eve of the election, imprisoned me inside my home for weeks, and then declared himself winner of the 2021 presidential election. Now, it is 2026, and here I am again, speaking to you at the Geneva Summit. Nothing has changed for the better, only going from bad to worse. Despite what happened in 2021, we were driven by hope to give it another try. So in 2025, I announced that I was running for president again. For 112 days, I traveled across the country campaigning, and the population turned up overwhelmingly. Yet again, our campaigns were violently attacked, our supporters were murdered, we were blocked from reaching many places, and were also blocked from several media stations. As usual, Museveni shut down the internet again, this time 3 days to the election. And what happened thereafter was not an election, but a military operation. The election was so rigged to the point that even at the polling station where Museveni voted for, he got much more votes than the actual registered voters in the register. Our polling agents in several places were arrested and whisked away. Several of our party officials were arrested and many abducted. 2 female deputy presidents of our political party were abducted and held incommunicado in a military barracks for 3 weeks before being thrown into a prison where they are languishing right at this moment. The military was deployed on our streets, shooting on spot whoever dared to challenge the criminality. It was under these circumstances that Museveni yet again declared himself winner of the election, this time with over 70% of the vote. Right now, I'm speaking to you while in hiding. This is because as soon as the election was finished, Museveni's son, who is also chief of the Ugandan military, issued an order to take me to him, dead or alive. The military acted on his order and raided my home. They tortured my family members, humiliated and undressed my wife, accusing her of hiding me. Meanwhile, they were recording and taking pictures of her, which the military chief later on shared on Twitter and bragged about capturing my wife. They also took over my home and surrounded it, and they are occupying my home as we speak right now. My wife and children had to flee the country for fear of their lives. I am in hiding, but I don't want to be in hiding. It was necessary though, so I can stay alive and be able to speak to you right now. I've said it before and I say it again, that I'll resurface at the right time in my country. I feel like the international community has abandoned us. They've ignored us and they've left us to the fate of dictators. When I ran for president in 2021, Museveni and his thugs denied their crimes. They killed our people and denied it. They tortured people and denied it. They raided our houses and denied it. General Museveni has been a smart dictator because he puts on a suit, goes to the West and to the UN, speaks very nicely about democracy and human rights, but realistically, he does not mean any of those. He talks about our so-called Human Rights Commission in Uganda, but the same person closed the UN Human Rights Office in Uganda 2 years ago because they dared to question him about his atrocities. Now that is how he has been able to maintain a facade of democracy for 40 years and counting. But now Museveni is 83 years old, and his 51-year-old son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, commands our military, the Uganda People's Defense Forces, more like Uganda's defense against his own people. And he's effectively in charge. And like his father, Muhoozi does not play the role of a good dictator. He openly and shamelessly says despicable things on social media. On Twitter, he openly confesses and brags about committing atrocities against the people of Uganda. When he was summoned by Parliament, he called Parliament a house of clowns and fools, and he threatened to arrest all of them. He describes judges of the Supreme Court of Uganda as clowns in wigs, and he has threatened the person known as Eddie Mutwe. He later on posted on Twitter naked pictures of Eddie, boasting that Eddie Mutwe was in his basement learning Museveni's mother tongue, Bunyankole. Last month, he bragged about killing 22 of my friends, and he said that he's praying that I am the 23rd person for him to kill. In other words, Museveni and his son no longer fear international retaliation for their crimes. They've been so emboldened by your lack of action. They know that they can murder their own people, imprison them, torture them, remove their fingernails, push needles down their testicles, and nothing will happen to them. Now, they're using rape as a weapon. Boys and girls, men and women, people of all ages have reported being sexually assaulted by Muhoozi's military. And it's not rare. The majority of the people that they capture and unlawfully imprison have reported being raped, whether men or women. It is no longer possible, ladies and gentlemen, for the international community to deny Museveni's violence and atrocities. It's all over social media. And today, I am talking about it to you. Now, this is our call to action. The way I see it, if the international community continues to be complacent.
All right, welcome back. That was a very powerful statement, a speech from Bobi Wine, the people's president of Uganda. From this video, there is a similar video I tried to do just a few days ago, and how people are responding about it. Yes, it's so surprising to see the people of Uganda are coming out to give out such comments, because all that's happening today in the country of Uganda is something that I think it should be, everyone from the country of Uganda should be concerned no matter what is happening. We can say that all that happened since the time of all the period of election, it's like some months have passed. I think 2 or 1 month, whereby you can say that we have to surrender and let everything to just go like how it can go. But that's not the problem, because already everything is just going on as how it's supposed to be going. The country is already moving on. People have, some have even forgotten the issues or the things of elections. But now the question comes here. Today, that's what has been happening. That's what has been done. What about tomorrow? Because this is not the first time we have experienced such things happen in the country of Uganda, not only in Uganda, but across Africa. This is not the first time we have seen these things happening. So what the question remains, today we are not concerned about this. What about tomorrow? Because today we are so quiet over all that's happening or what has happened, which in some people it has caused some damages. Because at this time, I'm so sure that there are some people today in this country who are still traumatized, who are still worried, who are still mourning their families or their loved ones because of what happened since the time of campaigning time up to the time of election. So the people who are coming out to give negative comments, I think these are the people who have not yet damaged or faced any consequences that has been done by these politicians or by the political violence of the country, from this country of Uganda. But if you have ever tasted this pain, at least you can have something to say, and you can rely to the side of the people, of the majority, and try to support of what the people or other people are saying. But if you have not yet tasted how other people have tasted and you have not felt this pain from your heart, you cannot understand what the people are coming out to speak about. Because I've seen some people coming out to say that Bobi Wine is just an agent to the Westerners. He's just a puppet, because he's fighting for this position as a leader of Uganda, because there's some people who are fueling him so that he can get this opportunity and make the ways for some people to come and access to their country, and maybe try to cause some violences or some exploitation, some looting of resources in this country, which I cannot agree or disagree about this. But now, do you want to tell me today that all that's happened in this country is just okay? Because this is the person that has served this country for the longest time, like over 30 years. But the people are still facing the same problems, and the problem are worsening every day. The situation is worsening every day. Today, at this country, I don't think we would have been hearing all these make all these noises about the roads, the poor hospitals and poor schools and everything. Because this is the father of democracy in Africa, which in East Africa, which believe that he's mature enough in democracy and he know what to do. At this time, even if he's fighting to secure his position, to secure the position or the power is not the problem. But the problem is, what are you trying to do to make your people be satisfied with their regime? What are you doing in your power after that long to make your people feel like they're having a leader? Because today, take an example of the country like Rwanda. Rwanda have the Kagame like their president for the longest time. But you cannot hear the people from Rwanda coming out to complain about anything, because the government is doing what's supposed to be doing to the people. The president's listening to the voices of everyone, and he's trying to his best to make sure that the country get what it deserves. That is what we call governance. There is a question Professor Pierre Lumumba asks one day: what's the problem? What's your problem as the leaders of Africa? Who bewitched African leaders? Because what's happening today is just repeating itself each and every day. And when we see other leaders going outside to express or to address the world, the world through other platforms, we don't just have to come out and start to judge them because they are in a white man's lands, because we don't support them. Then we have to judge them negatively. No, that's not how things happen. So Bobi Wine, I think some may say that election was conducted, Museveni was announced, and life has to go on, which is not bad. But try to think about tomorrow. That's what Bobi Wine is doing today. It is not a must that he become the president of this country, but at least he's making the way to liberation, whereby even for those people who will come after this to try to contest for this position, they will have something to do. They will have something to come and do. They will have at least the way to come and access or use to get this power and make the people of Uganda proud again, and make this country great again as how it was. So just let me have your views in the comment section. This is Black History, where we uncover the hidden truth. I think you're doing good. Be blessed where you're from, and thank you for tuning in.